A very good morning to all of you. You're watching Breakfast News. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's get the bulletin rolling with the headlines first. Prime Minister Modi to attend third RCEP summit in Bangkok today. At the annual Indian-ASEAN summit, PM calls ASEAN key to India's Act East policy. Delhi records poorest air quality in 3 years. Prime Minister's office holds high-level meeting. Odd-even scheme comes into effect in Delhi from today. All schools closed till 5th November. Vice President calls for innovative solutions to tackle pollution, climate change, advocates water conservation, urges scientists to develop cost-effective desalination technology. Isolate nations adopting terrorism as state policy, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at Tashkent. Ahead of the India-Uzbekistan joint exercise Dastlik 2019, puts defence cooperation as top priority for mutual ties. Led by India, South Asia fast becoming centre of global growth, says latest IMF report underscores large young workforce as South Asia's strength. Our top story, it is an air emergency in Delhi as the national capital and NCR region continues to choke in very severe to hazardous air quality for the 8th straight day after Diwali. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, Delhi's 24-hour average air quality index or AQI stood at 494 at 4 p.m. on Sunday, the worst since November 2016. 21 of the 37 air quality monitoring stations recorded AQI between 490 and 500 and air quality sensors peaked out at 7 p.m. According to the Ministry of Earth Sciences Air Quality Monitor, SAFAR, Delhi's overall AQI reached as high as 708 around 5 p.m. on Sunday, which is 14 times the safe level of 0 to 50. After Delhi, all schools up to class 12th were also closed in the national capital region till Tuesday following spike in pollution level. The heavy smog caused a major disruption at Delhi airport as 37 flights were diverted and more than 250 departures and 300 arrivals delayed due to poor visibility. A day after the chief ministers of Delhi, Haryana and Punjab sought the centre's intervention, the centre on Sunday reviewed the situation with the state governments and announced that Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba would monitor it on a daily basis. The Delhi government too issued a health advisory in view of the severe air pollution in the city and asked people to avoid outdoor activities as much as possible, especially during the morning and late evening hours. The Supreme Court will take up a report from the Environment Pollution Control Authority on the pollution caused by stubble burning. The odd-even scheme road space rationing scheme has kicked in from 8 a.m. today, with only even-numbered non-transport vehicles allowed on Delhi roads on the first day of the exercise.
मैं दिल्ली के लोगों से अपील करूंगा कि इस वक्त पूरे नॉर्थ इंडिया में पॉल्यूशन बहुत बड़ी समस्या बना हुआ है, पराली का धुआं फैला हुआ है, बहुत बड़ी समस्या बना हुआ है। हम पराली के धुएं को कम नहीं कर सकते आज की तारीख में, अब ये फैल चुका है, लेकिन कम से कम हम अपने पॉल्यूशन के जो सोर्सेज हैं उनमें कमी ला सकते हैं। अगले 10 दिन तक अगर हम ऑड इवन फॉलो कर लेंगे तो दिल्ली के अपने सोर्सेज में कमी आएगी, कुछ तो राहत मिलेगी। दिक्कत के समय में अगर थोड़ी सी हार्डशिप हम कर लें और थोड़ी सी राहत मिले, मुझे लगता है ये सबके लिए फायदे की चीज़। देखो, ऑड इवन एनफोर्समेंट से ज़्यादा लोगों के दिल का मसला है। पिछले 2 ऑड इवन सफल हुए, वो इसलिए सफल हुए क्योंकि लोगों ने अपने बच्चों की खातिर, अपने परिवार की खातिर ऑड इवन को फॉलो किया।
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urged scientists to present innovative solutions to tackle alarming levels of pollution. Addressing the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the National Institute of Ocean Technology in Chennai, Vice President asked scientists to come up with effective ways to conserve water and deal with climate change. He said that technology is needed to protect coastal areas from the negative effects of climate change and to develop seaside infrastructure for the benefit of society. He also asked scientists to develop cost-effective desalination technology.
Ocean data collection capability, marine geochemistry, marine pollution, oceanography, marine ecology, marine drugs, and mariculture technologies. Technologies needed for protection of coastal areas from negative impact of climate change and for development of blue coastal infrastructure for the benefit of society. I am happy to note that NIOT is carrying out real-time ocean conservation network in polar region for long-term monitoring of Arctic region for climate change studies.
The Vice President also called for harnessing blue economy to create more jobs and spur economic growth. The Vice President also launched the Coastal Flood Warning System app developed by the National Institute of Ocean Technology for Chennai. He also released a commemorative postage stamp on the occasion.
In ocean-related field, apart from having demonstrated technologies like desalination plants for the island communities, I am told, I will explain that NIOT, among others, is engaged in data collection for tsunami warning and also beach restoration, which gives immense benefits to the society.
And now let's get to all updates from PM Modi's Thailand visit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the East Asia Summit and RCEP summits in Bangkok today. In the East Asia Summit, he will interact with the conglomeration of 18 countries that comprises of 10 ASEAN countries and 8 major countries of the world that include India, USA, China, Russia, Japan, South Korea, Australia and New Zealand. The regional forum will review the evolving security scenario in the region, besides deliberating on ways to deal with the threat of terrorism and radicalization. At the RCEP summit, PM Modi will take stock of the progress in RCEP negotiations. India will consider all issues, including concerns and interests in trades in goods and services and investments. Our news correspondent Akhilesh Suman is joining us from the newsroom to provide more information on this. Akhilesh, it is being said that the ASEAN summit, the single point focus this time, has been on the long negotiated RCEP trade deal. Tell us more about it.
You know, you are right in a way that RCEP is going to be one of the major free trade agreements in the world. And you know that in this negotiation, China and India, the two biggest countries of the world, are also involved. So in that way, it is really going to be very important negotiation. And negotiations had been held many times. And today, you can say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be deliberating in this. And there are many issues that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I think, will be raising. And those are the issues that is related to what will be the deal when major countries are coming and getting market access in India. And you know that India is the biggest transparent market, largest democracy in the world, and that gives ease of business to many countries, and especially the ease of trade, because we have a large consumer platform in the country. And in that way, there are concerns also. And the concern is, one of the major concerns is the country of origin of manufactured products. What is important for India, that India also has to safeguard its own manufacturing industry, small and medium enterprises. And in that way, India doesn't want that it should be swayed away by the cheap products that are coming from China, and then it is getting stamped in another country, and then it is exported to India. So this phenomena should not be there. So country of origin of the manufactured products is very important issue, and there should be some negotiation on this thing. Other than this, you know that India is very good in service industry, including the software technology. So there must be a deal with India about the service industry, how Indian service industry will go and work in many countries and all countries of this RCEP. And the third thing is very important, that is also pharma sector, because India is the one of the major agricultural economy in the world. We have a very large number of people basically dependent on agriculture, and in that situation India also has to safeguard that in bid of export agriculture product export in India, Indian agriculture should not be impacted. So how will be the balancing? These are the three important things that India is looking, and it will be interesting to see that when Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the RCEP summit, what comes out, we will see by the evening.
Right, Akhilesh, thank you so much for that information. The Prime Minister on Sunday addressed the annual India-ASEAN Summit in Bangkok, where he talked about mutual coordination between India's vision of the Indo-Pacific and ASEAN outlook for the strategically key region. Prime Minister said that India's Act East policy is a significant cornerstone of the Indo-Pacific strategy, adding that ASEAN is at the core of Act East policy. Prime Minister highlighted steps being taken to improve surface, maritime, air and digital connectivity. $1 billion Indian line of credit will prove beneficial for improving physical and digital connectivity. In a significant indication of India's rising profile, the 10-nation ASEAN appreciated New Delhi's growing role in the Indo-Pacific region.
पॉलिसी हमारे इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन का एक महत्वपूर्ण भाग है। आसियान हमारी एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी का मर्म है और सदैव रहेगा। इंटीग्रेटेड, संगठित और आर्थिक रूप से विकासशील आसियान भारत के बुनियादी हित में है। हम और मजबूत सरफेस, मैरीटाइम और एयर कनेक्टिविटी तथा डिजिटल लिंक के माध्यम से अपने साझेदारी को और बढ़ाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। आसियान इंडिया एफटीए की समीक्षा के निर्णय का स्वागत करता हूं। इससे हमारे आर्थिक संबंध न सिर्फ और मजबूत बनेंगे, बल्कि हमारा व्यापार भी और बैलेंस होगा। मैरीटाइम सुरक्षा, ब्लू इकोनॉमी और मानवीय सहायता के क्षेत्रों में भी अपने साझेदारी को हम मजबूत बनाना चाहते हैं।
Terming terrorism as a global problem, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has called for isolating all countries that have adopted terrorism as their state policy. Speaking at the curtain raiser of the first ever India-Uzbekistan joint exercise, Dastlik 2019 in Tashkent, Rajnath Singh said that defence cooperation is crucial to the bilateral ties between India and Uzbekistan. The drill, in which an Indian army contingent will train along with the Uzbekistan army, will be held from November 4th to November 13th. Rajnath Singh described Dastlik 2019 as an example of the growing defence collaboration between India and Uzbekistan. He expressed confidence that the soldiers of the two countries will stand shoulder to shoulder in the time of need.
वैश्विक समस्या है और सभी राष्ट्र किसी न किसी रूप से इस समस्या से परेशान हैं। ऐसे कई उदाहरण हैं जहां कुछ देशों ने आतंक को अपनी स्टेट पॉलिसी के रूप में अपनाया है। आज आवश्यकता है कि दुनिया के सभी देश ऐसे एक्शन को कंडक्ट करें तथा ऐसे देशों को आइसोलेट करें। आज भारत व उज्बेकिस्तान के सैनिकों को कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर खड़े हुए देखकर मुझे यह पक्का विश्वास हो गया है कि ऐसा कोई अवसर आता है तो अपने ज्वाइंट मिशन को सफलतापूर्वक पूरा करने में कामयाब होंगे।
With this, we'll halt in for a quick breather, but we'll be back soon. Stay tuned with us.
The Prolific British poet and story writer Joseph Rudyard Kipling, one of the first masters of short stories in English. In 1894 appeared his Jungle Book, which became a children's classic all over the world. Kim, the story of Kimball O'Hara and his adventures in the Himalayas, is perhaps his most felicitous work published. Set in and concerned with India he had come to know and love so well. In 1907, Kipling became the first English language writer to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Mihir Sen, an outstanding and extraordinary saltwater swimmer of India. He is the first Asian to swim the English Channel way back in 1958. And just 8 years later, in 1966, he swam the 7 seas of the 5 continents in 1 calendar year, which etched his name in the Guinness Book of World Records. In 1959, he was also conferred the Padma Shri, and in 1967 he was awarded the Padma Bhushan.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Breakfast News. Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi has termed National Register of Citizens as a base document for the future, which is urgently needed. Speaking at the launch of a book titled Post-Colonial Assam, Gogoi said the NRC is a solution within framework. Justice Gogoi slammed people for using social media to cast aspirations on the NRC exercise, calling it a motivated tirade at democratic institution. He said that prior to this exercise, there was an enormous amount of guesswork regarding number of illegal immigrants, which fueled panic, fear and vicious cycle of lawlessness and violence.
The Assam Accord of 1985 and its concomitant features, introduction of Section 6A in the Citizenship Act, and the promise of a National Register of Citizens was an attempt to evolve a solution within the legal framework. Let me take this occasion to clarify. The NRC is neither new nor a novel idea. It found expression as early as in the year 1951 and in the particular context of Assam in the year 1985, when the Assam Accord was signed.
According to India Meteorological Department, cyclonic storm Maha is likely to bring very heavy rains to parts of Maharashtra. Maharashtra's Disaster Management Cell said areas in North Konkan and North Central Maharashtra will experience heavy rains along with thunder and lightning from November 6th till November 8th. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea, while district collectors have been asked to take measures to reduce the impact. Cyclone Maha is expected to make landfall in Gujarat between Dwarka and Diu on the night of November 6th and bring heavy to very heavy rains to the region till the next day. And now let's talk about environment and climate change. Two new countries, Eritrea and St. Kitts and Nevis, signed the International Solar Alliance's Framework Agreement, taking the membership strength of the body to 83. The two nations signed the ISA Framework Agreement during its second assembly in New Delhi on October 31, 2019. Addressing the assembly, Union Minister and ISA President R.K. Singh emphasized on increasing importance of solar energy, especially in view of several climate change issues being faced across the world. International Solar Alliance was jointly launched by India and France. The main objectives of the alliance include lowering the cost of energy, increasing investment in renewable energy, training and sharing of knowledge and technology among the member nations. Role of the International Solar Alliance is extremely important in fulfilling the 2030 SDG goals and objectives of the Paris Agreement on climate change. Led by India, South Asia is moving towards becoming center of global growth, according to a latest research by the International Monetary Fund. The IMF report said that South Asia could contribute about one-third of the world's growth by 2040, supported by efforts to improve infrastructure and harnessing South Asia's young and large workforce. The IMF research says that more than 150 million people in the region are expected to enter the labor market by 2030 in the region. The IMF report says that India has an excellent tertiary education system which needs to be complemented with areas like manufacturing sector. Under the IMF's geographical division of the world, South Asia does not include Afghanistan and Pakistan. For IMF, South Asia includes India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan and Maldives. Bangladesh defeated India by 7 wickets to take 1-0 lead in 3-match 2020 series in New Delhi on Sunday. Mushfiqur Rahim remained unbeaten on 60 and helped Bangladesh register their first ever T20 win over India. Deepak Chahar, Khalil Ahmed and Yuzvendra Chahal of India scalped 1 wicket each. Earlier, Bangladesh won the toss and have opted to bowl first. Batting first, hosts made 148 for the loss of 6 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. Shikhar Dhawan with 41 runs, Rishabh Pant 27 and Shreyas Iyer with 22 were top scorers for India. Shafiul Islam and Aminul Islam of Bangladesh scalped 2 wickets each. Lakshya Sen won the Saarlord Lux Open Badminton Tournament at Saarbrücken in Germany. Lakshya Sen defeated China's Weng Hongyang of China in an exciting final on Sunday. Lakshya seeded 8th, needed 59 minutes to overcome Weng 17-21, 21-18, 21-16. The summit for clash for his third successive single title of the season. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of Breakfast News. Thank you so much for joining us.